Our third speaker is among the primary conveners of Integrity Summit between the Makati Business Club and the European Chamber of Commerce. He is Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Navarro Company, and he brings into 5 years of experience in accounting, auditing, management, counseling, and corporate finance, to talk about promoting actionable ethical practices for all business stakeholders. Brothers and sisters, please welcome the 2014 President of the Management Association of the Philippines, Mr. Greg Navarro.
People say it's a steadfast dedication to a code of ethics. But most people don't realize how crucial integrity is. What is integrity? Most people say it's a steadfast dedication to a code of ethics. But most people don't realize how crucial integrity is in nation building. Integrity isn't just about a code of ethics. It's about doing the right thing even if no one is looking. Imagine how life would be if we didn't bribe, cheat, and steal. Wouldn't life be so much better? But we must first practice integrity from within. We must practice this in our daily lives and be a shining example. But you can't do it alone. We all need to practice integrity. This collective action will help improve the Philippines, allow fair competition, and finally end the vicious cycle of corruption. Together, we can effect a culture change and build a nation known for its integrity. Show initiative. Show integrity.
In the recently concluded United Nations Crime Congress in Doha, Qatar, they came up with this statement: corruption is the single greatest obstacle to economic and social development around the world. It prevents people, countries, and businesses from fulfilling their potential. Not only does it steal money from where it is needed the most, it leads to weak governance, which in turn fuels organized criminal groups and promotes further transnational crime. It stifles economic growth, undermines the rule of law, squanders precious resources, and dissuades international investments. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Kami po sa Integrity Initiative ay nagagalak na maimbitahan ngayong araw na to. At in spite of the long weekend, you're all here dahil manonood kayo ng boxing bukas. Well, the Filipino people have long been clamoring for the government to eradicate corruption in its ranks. The current administration has responded to that call and has taken measurable steps to change the culture through its Daang Matuwid campaign. By and large, I think we can agree that it has gone a long way in instituting much improved governance, transparency, and accountability, even as it continues its efforts to prosecute corrupt individuals and bring them to justice. However, the government alone cannot fight corruption. The private sector must step up to the plate and do its part. It is in this context that we ask, what is the private sector willing to do in order to create a nation of integrity? What sacrifices can we make in order to ensure that a culture of strong corporate governance will prevail? How can we prioritize ethics and the promotion of the greater good over the interest of the greedy few? The private sector has to do its part. Otherwise, we will devolve into a nation of blame, of finger-pointing, without making any constructive changes. True change requires the commitment of everyone involved, every stakeholders. One such commitment from the business community is the Integrity Initiative. While our initial focus is to strengthen integrity practices in the private sector, we don't lose sight of the need to engage other sectors if we are to sustain this campaign. This task, and I'm certain that you will all agree, is not the responsibility of only a select few. Building a nation with integrity requires an aggressive effort from both private and public spheres, drawing strength from each other and building on the successes and even on the failures of one another. It started in late 2010 by the Makati Business Club and the European Chamber of Commerce in the Philippines. It now draws support from major business groups such as the Management Association of the Philippines, the American Chamber of Commerce of the Philippines, the Financial Executives Institute, the Asian Institute of Management, and many others. And I hope that the BCPC will also join us in this crusade. Since the Integrity Initiative began 4 years ago, a rallying call to those who will no longer tolerate corruption as business as usual has significantly expanded its reach. And along the way, we have been joined by a considerable number of allies. The Integrity Pledge and the Unified Code of Conduct for Business lies at the heart of our efforts to fight private sector corruption. The number of signatories to this pledge has since grown from just 100 at the beginning of 2011 to more than 3,000 companies today. 1,000 of those are contractors of the DPWH, because Secretary Babe Singson over there required all bidders to sign the pledge before they can be pre-qualified by DPWH. A week before the Mama Sapano incident, through the efforts of the Institute for Solidarity in Asia, we were able to convince the PNP and all the 150,000 members of the PNP to sign the Integrity Pledge. Signing the pledge and making this moral commitment to ethical business practices is only the starting point towards a fully ethical organization and eventually a nation of integrity. Equally important is translating this promise into concrete action to improve, reinforce, or refine an organization's good governance standards. The Integrity Initiative has consulted various business groups cutting across different industries in both the private and public sectors. What we have found over the course of this discussion matches our expectation that unethical practices are rampant in business. While causes vary from case to case, many businessmen justify their illicit activities by citing need or survival to justify their practices. Despite this rationalization, however, we have found a common consensus among business groups that a business environment free from corruption is still the ideal for all of us. In order to ease out the culture of corruption prevalent in our system, the Integrity Initiative has developed a framework and supplementing mechanisms intended to pave the way to a more ethical environment for Philippine business. For institutions, organizations, and businesses that acknowledge the existing problem of corruption as well as unethical business and have willingness to begin curbing it within their own ranks, an integrity pledge is signed to signify the moral commitment to strive towards this ideal. Signatories of the pledge must then make an effort to follow the Unified Code of Conduct for Business prescribed by the Integrity Initiative. This code of conduct is the result of dissections and comparisons of similar codes of existing company signatories and organizations implementing stringent integrity practices. The next step is taking the Integrity Self-Assessment Test, an online diagnostic tool companies can use to gauge their level of implementation of integrity practices. The tool approaches different areas of management: top management, sales and marketing, human resources, purchasing, logistics, and finance in order to provide a multifaceted view of a company's operations. After taking the self-assessment test, companies will be able to view their scores and see their strengths and weaknesses in terms of ethical business with scores ranging from initiation to advanced stages of implementation. Following the self-assessment is a validation phase, wherein third-party validators, most of them volunteers, accredited by the Integrity Initiative meet individually with the companies that underwent the online ISA tool. Their purpose is to validate results of the self-administered test by checking documentary evidence. We have so far been able to validate 31 signatory companies utilizing this integrity validation system, of which 12 companies have been validated to be at advanced level. Once results are validated, companies are then informed of their scores. Afterwards, learning gaps are identified and can be dealt with through learning interventions that the Integrity Initiative, through the assistance of professional organizations, will provide to them. Looking ahead, what the initiative aims to provide is a certification system wherein successful companies will be awarded a seal of excellent housekeeping, signifying that they adhere to the highest standards of ethics in their operations. However, more than this, our ultimate target is a level playing field where ethical business is the norm and an advantage. The initiative is, after all, an advocacy where our signatories commit to zero tolerance for corruption, pay the right taxes, adhere to labor laws, respect the environment, and prioritize long-term sustainable development over short-term profits. With this bigger goal in mind, each of us must continue to remain honest in our businesses and to convince our clients, suppliers, and partners of the value of clean and honest business. As we further increase our numbers, we will surely gain the leverage to demand the same higher standards of integrity from fellow businessmen as well as public officers. One particular government program that complements our private sector campaign is the Integrity Management Program, which will soon be implemented by the Office of the Ombudsman and the Office of the President across the entire bureaucracy. Envisioned to be the government's flagship national anti-corruption framework, the IMP seeks to also gauge the vulnerabilities of public agencies to corruption, identify areas for improvement, and thus provide the appropriate interventions and incentives for reform. If executed well, this project can radically transform the way things are done in the public sphere. And we in the private sector offer our full support towards the success of this campaign. There will always be those who will doubt our efforts and dismiss the sustainability of this undertaking. Our response to them is a message of optimism that today times have changed and that much will be achieved if we band together under a common ideal. To conclude, in the literal and figurative sense, integrity begins with I. It starts with the individual, and it is a personal choice. And with every person choosing to believe that we can be an honest nation, choosing to adopt integrity as his or her primary standard, and choosing to contribute to this national effort, the closer we are to getting the large collective needed to build a nation with integrity. As Attorney Grace said, walk the talk, and we invite everyone, each and every one of you, to walk the talk with us. But let me end by inviting BCBP and all its members to partner with us and sign the Integrity Pledge as a first step. We'll be showing a 5-minute video on how you could join, and while that's being shown, we will distribute on the front tables a copy of that Integrity Pledge. It's only 14 sentences long. So, and if you may want to cancel some of them, we'll consider it. But please do join us. Many of you have already signed. So the video after this speech will show you exactly how it is done. So on that note, maraming salamat po at papalaing nawa tayo na may kapal.
What is the key to good business? Is it about giving the perfect gift, knowing which hands to shake, or pleasing the right people? With the way business is conducted in the Philippines, it's not hard to see why 30% of Filipinos perceive businesses as corrupt. Where business means profits and good equals more, people become willing to pay the cost of corruption at the expense of others.
Corruption in all its forms has not only exacerbated poverty, but has also prevented a level playing field for businesses.
In an environment where ethics is a handicap, we ask, can good business be clean business? This is where the Integrity Initiative comes in. Started by the Makati Business Club and the European Chamber of Commerce of the Philippines in 2009, the Integrity Initiative is a private sector-led campaign that attempts to strengthen ethical standards in society and aid the country in its fight against corruption.
Calling on organizations to work together towards common goals, the initiative harnesses the best corporate values and practices to level the playing field, which will benefit both producers and consumers. Its first endeavor is Project Shine, a 4-year undertaking supported by Siemens Germany that aims to institutionalize and promote honesty, transparency, and fairness within organizations through the use of control measures and integrity validation systems.
Project Shine began in 2011 with the launch of the Integrity Pledge and Unified Code of Conduct for Business.
The project has hit several milestones since then, each year getting closer to its target of creating a unified standard on integrity.
This will initiate a change from within signatory companies and radiate outward on a collective basis. Today, the number of companies pledging their commitment to the campaign continues to grow as more and more government agencies and industry leaders from all over the country join in the effort of establishing a new ethical norm in the country. Any organization, local or foreign, big or small, can do its part in building good businesses to support a national campaign against corruption.
The first step is the easiest but most crucial: to set the tone from the top. Heads of companies and senior officials must sign the Integrity Pledge, a formal and concrete expression of commitment to abide by ethical business practices. The pledge also tasks them to oblige members of the organization to behave with integrity and carry on their responsibilities ethically. To solidify this commitment, companies must adopt the Unified Code of Conduct for Business, or UCCB, which is a harmonized version of codes of conduct of several companies in the Philippines.
Signatories to the pledge must then undertake an integrity self-assessment wherein companies can check their compliance with the Unified Code of Conduct for Business through an online diagnostic tool consisting of 74 ISA statements that revolve around 5 focus areas. This secure and user-friendly tool will help companies discover their existing level of organizational integrity practices, which is determined by the score that they acquire at the end of the assessment.
The integrity self-assessment results are validated by an external body accredited by Integrity Initiative. This validation gives credibility to the self-assessment performed by the signatory company.
The team of validators, who are made up of 2 or 3 individuals, will review the rating, collect objective evidence, and conduct document reviews and interviews to verify scores per focus area. The validated ratings will provide a signatory company a good reflection of their integrity systems. There are 5 ratings: not done, beginning, expanding, consistent, and advanced. Learning interventions such as integrity forums will be implemented to address the gaps based on the validated integrity self-assessment results. Through this thorough and rigorous validation process, companies can identify the areas of strength and opportunities for improvement that can be used for planning and designing integrity improvement strategies. It is only after undergoing the whole procedure that companies can finally earn certification, which will not only lead to certain government incentives, but also to sustain competitive advantage both in local and global industries. as companies take the lead in propagating positive change in the Philippines, there is more reason to believe that clean business is good business. The nationwide adoption of ethical business practices will not only level the playing field, it will also lead to more foreign investments, more employment opportunities, and more loyal customers. It's about time we do our part in wiping out corruption and start redefining what good business really means. Learn more about how you can be part of the movement at www.integrityinitiative.com.